Using an interview with a human geographer working in your department and appropriate wider reading, describe how they do research and what this means for producing contemporary geographical knowledges. Throughout this presentation, we will explore how Dr. Daniel James, one of the geography lecturers at the University of Exeter, conducts his research and how this impacts broader contemporary geographical knowledges. To comprehensively understand how James operates and contributes as a human geographer, we will examine his methodology, potential ethical considerations, topic establishment, source discovery and collaboration, as well as the significance of his work in helping to produce contemporary geographical knowledges. Prior to interviewing James, we read his work previously published on Argentina, which delves into key themes of mourning and memory, including his first paper, The Detours of Memory, Strategies and Tactics of Memory at Argentina's Parque de la Memoria, published in the journal Memory Studies, and his second piece, published with Political Geography, Mourners Who Cannot Mourn, Argentina's Parque de la Memoria as a Spatial Threshold of Memory. Both pieces consider more abstract themes, prompting us to want to better grasp James's process of collecting, condensing, and drawing conclusions from his research. As a group, we strive to unpack how James researches his crucial interest in the cultural memory of political violence in Argentina, aiming to draw more comprehensive conclusions about how his work contributes to broader geographical understanding.
During Dr. Daniel James's interview, he explained how he uses multiple types of research methods. However, it is clear that he mainly uses qualitative research methods such as interviews with key stakeholders, ethnographic observations, literature analysis and human rights archives from Argentina rather than quantitative research. This is because it allows James to get a better perspective on the memory and spatial threshold that the construct holds and is a more personal approach. Although it is argued by Koch that qualitative research is very subjective and can have biases compared to quantitative, which is more objective and statistical. James also explains how the number of methods he uses is necessary in order to get a more in-depth understanding of contemporary geographical knowledge. Kitchen and Tate also argue that one should design their own school of thoughts in order to reflect their beliefs and allow you to have a clearer approach and answer to the research question. Another approach that Dr. James typically uses is triangulation, which converges multiple research methods from other sources and is commonly used through geographical research. This is a form of cross-validation and it reduces bias and provides more data to ensure validity and reliability. He further suggested the usefulness of field trips as a part of your research in order to grasp a better understanding and a first-hand experience of what you are researching. This allows you to gather primary data and possibly have opportunities to hold interview with stakeholders.
When reviewing ethical considerations within the field of geographical research, we turn to one of the readings provided. The significance of mourners who cannot mourn proved essential to develop and broaden our knowledge on how ethics play a role in understanding how geographers do research. The reading discusses sensitive topics such as death as well as sensitive data, therefore it was fundamental to examine the presence of ethics within his research. In terms of carrying out research, we learned that procedures are put in place by the university. Whilst completing his PhD study, this mitigated any emotional distress and violence towards victims, parents and friends of victims. Features of ethical considerations such as the right to withdraw play crucial roles within his research, especially in reference to the sensitivity of topics discussed. Inclusivity and diversity are a major component of ethical frameworks. Inclusivity of women, for example, revealed bravery of mothers of the victims who took to the streets and protested against the dictatorship. In terms of diversity, gendered aspects play more of a role in his research compared to those of race and ethnicity. This was, however, due to migrational and historical reasons at the time. Overall, Daniel James revealed ethical considerations are a crucial part of research to protect the rights and well-being of participants and maintain the integrity and credibility of his study.
Dr. Daniel James began by explaining to us the process of how human geographers initially scope in on a specific topic that they wish to research and the array of factors that influence this. He stated that it is crucial for research questions to derive from interests that we have. This aligns with Kitchen and Tate's philosophy that examining a topic in which you are interested in is one of the keystones to conducting successful research. Dr. James particularly mentioned the importance of extracting useful insights from all kinds of inspirations and sources, for example, previous research on a similar topic. These broad interests naturally evolve over time and amalgamate in the form of rabbit holes to allow him to pinpoint a specific research topic of significant interest. Establishing a strong and specific topic is paramount for human geographers. It ensures focus, direction and efficiency in research efforts, and it allows for researchers to contribute meaningfully to their field. In terms of how Dr. James came to centre his investigation around Argentina's Parque de la Memoria, he exclaims that it was ultimately a result of a stroke of luck. From teaching in South America after his degree to then travelling through Buenos Aires, Peru and Chile, he ended up stumbling across the Parque de la Memoria in Argentina, he commented. Dr. James credits his spontaneous interest in the park for inspiring his research topic.
When interviewing Daniel James, he signified that you must fully understand a theory before being able to answer a research question. He stated that when reading a piece of literature which captures your interest, the most important thing to do is to check the reference list at the end and see if there is a book or an article which fits in with your research. Furthermore, instead of just exploring one topic of literature such as geography, it is also better to explore different areas of study too. James used the example of sociology and Spanish memory studies in order to answer his research question. Due to Dr. James visiting Parque de la Memoria, this allowed him to collect primary data sources which ensured the reliability of the secondary sources and allowed James to make balanced judgments. Other sources of data can generally be found in libraries or using Google Scholar, which ultimately helps James build the foundation of his research, allowing him to better answer and understand his research question.
Neither of James's pieces published to date involve external collaborative research, both enhancing and potentially limiting his work. The Geographical Review article, Doing Strong Collaborative Fieldwork in Human Geography, identifies that work without collaborative research may be improved given the stronger sense of individual and embodied experience in James's research. Likewise, more trivial challenges such as funding, credit and seniority are avoided. However, James's work may be restricted given how various viewpoints can enrich research with diverse perspectives, contributing to methodology processes.
A conclusion can be described as what brings your argument to a logical close. Writing a conclusion is an integral part of conducting research in human geography. It emphasises that research is not just for personal gain, but aspires to enlighten a wider audience. In relation to James's work, we can understand that even though his argument is coming to a close, his research isn't. Conclusions enabled James to reiterate the effects that the Argentinian dictatorship has had on the mourners' lives and how the memorial came to be. Whilst James may have had a clear conclusion, it does not mean that his research for Parque de la Memoria is coming to an end. For instance, he explained how he was conducting ongoing research and planning to do more. He wishes to look into the mourners more, such as the families, and do a piece of research on them specifically. In the context of producing contemporary geographical knowledge, James's paper on the detours of memory, strategies and statistics of memory at Argentina's Parque de la Memoria has widened and supplemented contemporary geographical knowledge by offering insights into the complex processes of memory production. Firstly, his research has allowed us to understand memory practices through introducing them into contemporary urban spaces. He had a particular focus on how collective memories can be constructed and maintained in public spaces, specifically in parks. Secondly, his research sheds light on the transnational dimension of memory activism. James does this by demonstrating how human rights groups in Argentina rally international backing to preserve memory spaces. This feature allows one to understand how memory movements transcend national borders and collaborate on a global scale. Thirdly, James's research highlights the importance of public spaces as sites of memory and engagement. Urban environments have the capacity to shape collective memory and political resistance, and this study allows us to better understand this. Lastly, his research brings to life the intricate dynamics between memory, politics, and power subtleties. This allows us to view memory in a nuanced way, whereby memory can be seen as a site of negotiation and contestation.